What's up, guys? We're talking prop bets for UFC Vegas 102. I'm going to throw 3 prop bets that are on the card that caught my eye. If you guys like this type of content, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, go follow me on my social media. It's popping up below. Let's get right into this one.
The teller.
The first fight I want to talk about is one of the more fun fights on the card. Gabriel Bonfim taking on Chaos Williams. We know Bonfim brings in a very nasty and dangerous submission attack to this matchup. Okay, Chaos Williams, on the other hand, has shown to be an absolute knockout artist. He brings in that crazy frame for the division. He will have about a 4-inch reach advantage here. I can see Chaos Williams potentially getting that KO on Bonfim, especially if things don't really start off well for Bonfim. He may get a little overly aggressive or just get a little overwhelmed. We saw him break down against Nicholas Dalby, but I also think the submission is always live with a fighter like Gabriel Bonfim, even against a fighter and Chaos Williams who has never been subbed. Bonfim has all types of subs in his arsenal. I mean, you take a look at the sub that he landed on DWCS, right? Hit Trey Waters with that Von Flue choke. We've seen him pull off mounted guillotines, anacondas. I mean, hit Trevin Giles with the guillotine, the simple guillotine sub. I mean, he can pull all types of subs off. He's very aggressive. And then also, even though he doesn't have a lot of KOs, he is aggressive with his striking as well. And that's being rounded out. Okay, it's growing in front of our eyes. So where I'm going with this is I think that we should see a finish in this fight one way or another. Okay, it can come on either side of the fence here, but I like this fight to end before that final bell hits. And if you take a look at what's available here, you could see that the under 1.5 is set at plus 120. You can get plus odds on this fight not making it to the halfway mark. I think that it's very possible it doesn't make it there. If you want to play it a little safer, you aim for that under 2.5, which you can get right around a minus 150. Okay, so that's a little bit of a safer route, and that line's not that bad. Okay, once it hits that 2.5 marker, even though we got burned on the Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prohaska fight, I still will stick to my guns, typically targeting those under 2.5s rather than just saying fight to not go the distance. I mean, if you could also take the fight to not go the distance, you're going to have to pay a little bit more of a premium there. But I like a finish happening in this fight. All right, so if you like that, go head over to BetUS. Shout out to my partners over there. You can go catch that under 1.5 right now, plus 120 on this fight. All right, if you guys are looking to sign up to a new sportsbook, reach out to me. I'll get you my referral link. You'll get a 150% match on your first 3 deposits. You guys can email me at MMAfortuneteller@gmail.com or shoot me a DM on Instagram at MMAFortuneTeller or on Twitter at the MMA Teller. Let's get to the next one. And then from there, I want to bump all the way up to the co-main event between Calvin Kattar and Youssef Zalal. Kattar has had a massive drop-off in his product inside the cage. I mean, he's definitely on the decline. He's in his upper 30s now. He's rarely getting his hand raised. But one thing that remains is that he is extremely tough and durable. Yes, I know he was finished by the Englishman not too long ago when he was KO'd by Arnold Allen. But you take a look at all of his other losses, they typically go to a decision. And what we're really focused in on here is the fact that he is rarely ever subbed. He's only been subbed once throughout his pro career, and that was a long time ago. It was well before he joined the UFC. And that's the real threat that Zalal brings to the cage, okay? I mean, he's a talented kickboxer. He's pretty smooth with his striking. It's developing. There's not a lot of power there, though. You take a look at his 3 victories in a row since returning back to the UFC. All of them come by way of submission. I don't see him pulling off that sub on Kattar, and I also don't see him landing a KO on Kattar. I don't think his power is going to translate into a finish there. So I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Even if you have Zalal winning this fight, like a lot of us do, he is a massive favorite to win it. Right now, he's right around that minus 500 to a minus 535 favorite. He's currently a minus 500 on BetUS as massive action has come in on him. He opened up as a minus 385. Okay, so yes, the masses are favoring him to get the job done. I'm leaning towards his way, although I feel like that line's off. I think Kattar is more live than he's getting credit for. Okay, he's a crafty veteran, and I could actually see this fight playing out somewhat closer if Kattar can rewind the clock a little bit. But what we're focused in on here is I do think that this fight makes it to the final bell. Even if Kattar did rewind the clock, we know that he is a fight finisher with his striking at times. Zalal has never been finished as a pro, sub or KO. So if somehow Kattar turns up, it's not very likely that he finds a finish on the very crafty and durable Zalal. I really like this fight to go the distance, which you could find right around a -200. Okay. I've seen it as low as a -185. I think there's some real value there, but even right around -200, -210, I think that that's a solid play. Okay. It's not a typical high plus action play thrown your way in the prop edition video here, but they can't all be like that. This is a safe target for you guys. I really see this fight making it to the final bell. It's a 3-rounder, and that should cash for you there. And the last prop play I want to throw your guys' way is indeed in the main event. It's a 5-round fight between Cannonier and Gregory Rodrigues. If you caught my full prediction video, you guys know I am on the Rodrigues side, even though based on where the money line was when I did that video, I feel the value is on Cannonier. This is another fighter. If he could rewind the clock just a little bit, he's live to land a counter K on Rodrigues. We've seen Rodrigues knocked out 3 times out of his 5 losses. He gets overly aggressive at times, and we've seen him knocked out by much lesser of fighters than a Cannonier. And even though Cannonier has been losing some fights, he still has shown flashes offensively. Okay, he is game and he is dangerous. Okay, so that's one element that's in the mix towards where we're going with this. But Gregory Rodrigues is an absolute steamroller offensively as well. Okay, yeah, he can be countered because he's so aggressive, but if you don't counter him, he's in there just looking to break you down. We just saw him smash Brad Tavares and Dennis Teoh-Linen as of recently. He knocked out Chidi Njokuani, Julian Marquez. I mean, he has a finish over almost everyone that he's been in there with over the last 8, 9, 10 fights. Anytime he's winning a fight, he's basically landing that KO. And he does also have a submission threat as well. One of the only fights that he's won over the last couple of years that went to a decision was his last fight against Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD, and he was dominating that fight as well. I think it's very likely that he smashes Cannonier and gets him out of there. Cannonier's been doing the chicken dance in a lot of his recent fights, even in fights that he survived. The Caio Bahailo fight, that was a fight he took a lot of damage. We saw Imavov get him out of there. And there's been a drastic decline in Cannonier's game as he's now 40 years old. And you guys know where I'm going with this. I really like being on the side of this fight not going the distance, but specifically to get better value. I like this fight under 2.5 rounds. Okay, that's the halfway mark. This is a 5-rounder. You could, if you want to play it safer, you could look maybe for an under 3.5, under 4.5, something like that. Or the fight, once you get to the fight not going the distance, you're not going to find any value there. So you would probably have to go either 2 or 3.5. Okay, at the under 2.5 right now on BetUS, you can get that at -120, which it was a +105 not too long ago. So we've seen action coming in on that. I like that. I like the value there. I feel that this fight does not hit the halfway mark, and it can come either way, but I think we're going to see a KO in this fight. All right, guys, so there's some prop bets for you. Let me know below. You guys tailing me? Are you fading me? Or do me a favor, comment a solid prop bet for the card for me to tail, or for everyone in the comment section to tail. All right, if you're on to something, we want to hear about it. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Don't forget, if you guys are looking to work with me for my official plays, if you want the exclusive targets that I am targeting for this card, do not hesitate to reach out to me. You could DM me on Instagram at MMA Fortune Teller, or you could DM me on Twitter at The MMA Teller, or even shoot me an email at MMAFortuneTeller@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys greatly. I'll leave you guys with that. Signing out, Teller.
The Teller. The Teller. The Teller.